Yo, what it do, guys? Every like, every comment, and every subscriber gives me motivation daily to bring you guys the best MMA content on YouTube. Hey, look, guys, check this out. Okay, guys, obviously, Khamzat Chimaev made his middleweight debut against Kamaru Usman, but originally the opponent was supposed to be Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa pulled out because, of course, he did. I mean, we're all used to Paulo Costa's shenanigans at this point. And Kamaru Usman stepped up on 10 days' notice because he is a G. So a lot of the talk that's been going around the MMA world has been that Khamzat Chimaev got exposed. And look, I know I'm a little bit late to this topic. I know the fight happened almost a month ago, but I still wanted to talk about this. Everybody's talking about how Chimaev got exposed. Now listen, the only people who are saying Khamzat Chimaev got exposed are the people who are overrating him, which led me to make that video months ago. Well, no, at this point, years ago. I've been around for a long time, guys. On Khamzat Chimaev being overrated. Because by you guys, he was overrated. And when I say you guys, I'm talking more so about the casual fan. I'm not talking about my boys who subscribe to Trippy Speaks UFC. Yes, subscribe, by the way. But everybody was overrating him. And it's at this point, I'm used to it. It's common when a new prospect bursts onto the scene and he displays crazy levels of talent. I mean, it's going to happen. Khamzat Chimaev at that point only had maybe 5 minutes of fight footage on him. He's only at that point, I think he literally had absorbed one significant strike his entire career. Obviously, Gilbert Burns came and obliterated that. But I'm going to get to my point. The point I'm going to make about Khamzat Chimaev is that, no, at this point, he did not get exposed. Really, what happened to him is the thing that's been happening with a lot of the guys that are similar to him. The great Weasel MMA once said, size only matters in a fight when skill is comparable. That may be one of the, honestly, the most accurate thing I've ever heard a human being say. Because it's true. So, Khamzat Chimaev, when he was fighting at welterweight, was looking invincible. He was looking invincible. Why? Because these guys were a lot smaller than he is. A lot smaller than he is. He could pick guys up and dump them on his head. I always said his wrestling style, I always said Islam and Khabib's wrestling style took way more skill than Khamzat Chimaev's wrestling style. Because Khamzat Chimaev's wrestling style is based off of a lot of explosivity. Gosh, I can't talk. Explosivity and brute strength. It was. He picked people up and dumped them in the air and expend a lot of energy while doing it. And with these bigger guys at middleweight, I'm telling you guys, he's not going to be able to do this. He did it to Kamaru Usman. And look, any guy who's capable of taking down Kamaru Usman, a guy who had 97% takedown defense, by the way, before Chimaev did it, deserves a ton of credit. Leon took Usman down. It was kind of a fluke. Leon's never going to take him down again. But Chimaev did it, and it took pure strength and skill. Because it still takes skill. But the point I'm trying to make is that Khamzat Chimaev is a weight bully. And I think at middleweight, we're really going to see the best of him against these guys. I think the way he fought Usman was simply the best he had to offer. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, Trippy, you're just hating at this point. No, I'm not. And it's not the first time I've been labeled a hater on my channel. And I'm used to it. No, I'm not. Khamzat Chimaev is going to have to bring out every tool in the toolbox to beat these middleweights. Why? Because these guys are a lot bigger. Yes, size matters in a fight. It does. And I'm sick of people saying that it doesn't. It does. And when these guys are just as big and strong as you are, you're not going to be able to just to pick them up and dump them in the air. I was more excited because people were more excited for Usman versus Chimaev. And I was like, no, I wanted to see Costa versus Chimaev because I wanted to see what Chimaev's going to do when he can't just hoist someone like Paulo Costa up in the air and just dump them on their head. Because if he tries it, if he tried to pick up a 220-something pound Paulo Costa and dump him on his head, he would be completely done for in the second round because that is so much energy. And even though he was fighting a much smaller Usman, not much smaller, but he was smaller, a smaller Usman, Usman that he was still able to bully in the fight, he still expended a lot of energy. And everybody is talking about this whole cardio thing. I don't think Khamzat Chimaev has terrible cardio. I just think he has terrible energy management. I mean, he literally explodes at every opponent. He tries to get them out as fast as he can. It's almost as if he knows he can't go 5 rounds. So he's going to try and take you out as fast as he can. And the couple times that it's failed for him, he almost lost the fight. He almost lost to Burns, and he almost lost to Usman. In my opinion, both fights should have been a draw. So it's a problem that he has. And it's because he's so used to being big and strong and dumping people on their head. I've always looked through this guy. I always saw like the flaws that nobody else seen. They look at his skill, and look, he is very skilled. I mean, he is a very skilled wrestler. But I said, like, okay, his skill is being amplified by the fact that he outweighs all of his opponents by like 30 pounds at welterweight. I mean, the guy was literally killing himself to make welterweight. And I'm going to say something that's really going to piss a lot of you guys off. A lot of these Russian, Dagestani wrestlers who shave their head and have beards, they do this. They cut a tremendous amount of weight just to have a size and strength advantage over their opponent to amplify their wrestling skills even more. Now, I'm not saying that these guys aren't skilled. I need to say that as many times as I need to, because I know you guys are going to come for me for that. I'm not saying these guys aren't skilled. What I'm saying is that they're very skilled, but their size and strength advantage over literally everybody makes their skill looks even better, is what I'm saying. Khamzat Chimaev had big power at welterweight. He's not going to have that big a power at middleweight. Khamzat Chimaev had this dominant wrestling style, and I'm interested to see if it's going to be as dominant at 185, because I still think that he's still outsizing a lot of people there. In my opinion, I think Khamzat Chimaev's rightful weight class should be around 205 pounds, but he won't fight there because obviously it's going to take a lot more skill for him to dominate people with his wrestling when he's fighting guys his size. But, I mean, that's just my opinion. Other than the other holes in his game, the obvious ones, you know, no head movement, no defense, all that type of stuff. His defense has gotten better, but he still gets hit with straight shots. I mean, straight shots are his kryptonite. He got outstruck by Kamaru Usman. I mean, come on, guys. Kamaru Usman is still a wrestler at this point. A wrestler who would lose to any striker in a striking match. You put Jorge Masvidal versus Kamaru Usman in a striking match, that fight looks a whole lot different. Anyways, but I want to know what you guys think about this. I think Khamzat Chimaev at middleweight is going to get even more exposed. I think he fights somebody like Dricus du Plessis and they really open up. Not saying he'll lose to these guys. I'm just thinking that they open a lot more holes that we didn't know that were there because we saw him at welterweight this entire time. I think Costa would have gave him a war, and I think Strickland is going to be one of his toughest fights as well. But I want to know what you guys think. It's been your boy Trippy, and I'm out, man.